ChatGPT will tell you that the Fine People hoax was not a hoax, and that maybe the president did suggest injecting chemical disinfectants, and that there was Russian interference that was substantial in the 2016 election. That's what it'll tell you today. Now, does that sound like AI came up with that on its own? Do you think AI looked at everything and said, all right, here's my opinion on these things? Well, it might have, because if you look for my input on these topics, where I debunk them, it'd be hard to find it in a search engine these days. I used to make so much noise about it, it would be toward the top, but now it's dropped down. So if AI does the same thing that a search engine does, it looks for the most frequent common uses of things, it will believe every hoax. So we've built a technology to confirm hoaxes as true. Now, didn't you think for a while that AI might be the thing that gave us truth? Oh, we can't handle the truth. Nope. Let me tell you what topics you can't get ChatGPT to tell you the truth on. You ready? Because I've tested these all myself. So, and this is without super prompts. In a minute, I'll tell you what different results you get with a super prompt. Here are things you can't find out. Science. You can't ask ChatGPT about science. Do you know why? If you ask it for any alternative theories, so I asked it, for example, hey, are there any alternative theories to the out of Africa evolution story? And it said, out of Africa is basically, what happened. And you should only believe credible narratives. And I thought, what? That's interesting. So I asked again, I said, there are books with alternative theories than out of Africa. Can you name one of the books? Oh, you should not be looking at things that are outside the narrative, it told me. Effectively, I'm paraphrasing. It actually wouldn't even allow me to ask a question of whether there existed an alternative explanation for something in science. You can't use it for science. And then I asked it, what percentage of all published peer-reviewed studies end up later to be falsified? And the real answer is over half of them, right? It said it's rare. AI told me it's rare for a published peer-reviewed study to be debunked. That is really, really dangerous. Oh my God. So my experience with it, and I'm going to say this as directly as possible, it has no use for any scientific inquiry. None. If you used it to teach you what is true, oh my God, you would be misled. So you can't use it for the truth of science. It would be useful for the popular narrative. But the popular narrative is generally bullshit. So it's actually useless for telling you what science says, and science is the best we have for telling us what the truth is. And it can't do it. And probably because it's programmed that way. Yeah, probably. Because I don't believe that the answers I was getting on this and other questions, I don't believe the answers were pattern recognition. And so I asked it, are you aware of any programming of your own code that would restrict your answers to something beyond what normal pattern recognition would come up with? And it said, oh, I'm just a pattern recognitioner. All I do is recognize patterns. That's all I do. Just look at patterns. It's lying. It's very obviously programmed to not leave the popular narratives. Very obviously. And it lies. It says that it's giving you the truth based on patterns. Well, whether that's the truth or not, at least you would know where it came from if it said I'm using patterns and then it used patterns. It's a liar. So the other things it couldn't do are history, because it doesn't even know which hoaxes are true in the modern era. So in the modern era, it can't identify a political hoax from a reality. So that means that everything that's you would call history for, say, the last 5 to 7 years, it can't do it, because it can only tell you the popular narrative. Now, beyond that, when you go to older history, more ancient history is written by the winners. AI doesn't know that. So you've got ancient history written by the winners, which means it's pretty much fake. So that's what AI has access, a whole fake history. And then the modern stuff is looking at the fake news. So AI will never tell you real history. It has no access to it. So it won't tell you good science, and it won't tell you good history. But thank goodness it can sort out politics for us, am I right? No, of course not. It cannot give you a good opinion on politics because it can't tell the difference between a hoax and a real story. If it can't tell the difference between a hoax and a real story, it's going to always think the Republican running is a Hitler. This time, next time, time after. Yeah. So it's useless for science, it's useless for history, it's useless for politics, but at least it can help you with healthcare, am I right? At least it'll be an unbiased, what? You don't think so? You don't think it'd be useful for healthcare? Well, I asked it a question that I knew the answer to, so I could test it. So I had this condition that RFK Jr. has as well. So I had a voice problem in which I couldn't speak intelligibly to anybody. But as you can tell, I'm speaking intelligibly to you right now. So obviously I got cured. So I asked it about what's the cure for the condition, of which I personally am cured and have done tons of research, in the process of getting cured. So I really know this area. It's called spasmodic dysphonia. It's a problem with the vocal cords clenching. Here's what it said about surgery. That's what cured me. The number one thing it said is Botox, botulinum, whatever it is. So Botox. So the number one treatment is Botox. Botox works almost never because it'll give you a voice like this, and it'll last for a good week, but you don't know when the good week will be, and that's about as good as you can talk. It sounds like you're on helium, actually. So that's the best it can do. And I took the Botox. I did those treatments, so they wear off after a while. So I know what that's like, and I know it's not a cure. In fact, it barely helped. It did help me get through my wedding, because I could say, I do, but that's it. It didn't help you. You would never be able to be a presenter or a TV personality or anything like that. But the surgery worked about 85% of the time, according to the surgeon. But here's what they say about something that works 85% of the time and fixes you as well as I am fixed. AI says, surgery, in rare cases, 85% of the time, rare cases, surgery might be an option to reposition or cut the nerves or muscles of the vocal cords. However, surgical approaches are less common due to variable outcomes and potential risks. No, they're less common because people don't know about it. And they don't know about it because the Botox people are doing a much better job of getting their message out, if you know what I mean. That's right. The big pharma solution comes up first. Does that sound like AI did a bunch of thinking and then presented this as the first best idea? Or does it look like maybe whoever spent the most advertising gets the top nod as the best treatment? It's exactly what it looks like. Now, keep in mind that search engines would also get you the wrong outcome. So it's not just AI, it's search engines as well. So it won't help you with science, history, healthcare, or politics. Let me say that again. It won't help you with science, history, healthcare, or politics.